Welcome to GameBreakers. My name is Thomas. I am here with Allison, David, and Diamond, and we are playing A Bard's Tale. This is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game, and full of homebrew and custom characters, and this week, we're headed somewhere new. So when last we left our intrepid heroes, they had done their final preparations on their way to the Badwa'Mor wastes. They believe that their chosen nemesis has some machinations out there at a certain celestial occurrence and have decided to show up and interrupt it. To that end, you recruited a druid to transport you, and an airship to get you out. And you have shopped and crafted and spent really the last week and a half getting as ready as you guys can be. So where do you meet up to leave?
The library, and then go from there, I suspect, because that's what we keep doing.
Correct. Ishka, your ride out is located at Hyperion. He remains there, trying to save the tree still.
I don't know where Hyperion is since I wasn't part of that, so.
I forget how we got there.
You took your airship.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still in the maps. It's only a few hours flight in the bubble.
We could have the airship take us there as it heads out for its own journey.
Yeah, you guys haven't checked out the new airship yet. Your cousin has let you know that there's been some retrofitting.
Sounds
So
like we should check.
Do we join the group at the docks as you are headed to the ship?
Yes. Yes.
All right. The docks at any time of day or night are bustling and busy. Laborers, various technicians working on ships, loading and unloading cargo, taking it off to the various places where it'll be used in the city. The airship docks are up a very large, seems mechanical elevator. A lot of pulleys, a lot of gear, but at the bottom there are several ogres turning wheels to move it up and down to set the counterweights. You are taken up about 120 feet in the air to the dock where you, Stan, and you, Struana, first met.
Aww. Memories.
You are met at the elevator by Bannon. He is there with a member of the guard. They do all the paperwork, and he leads you down toward your airship.
Okay.
Are there a lot of other airships?
There are several, about a dozen currently, although you see, a few about to leave and a few circling, waiting for their dock.
How cool is our airship compared to other airships?
As you approach it, Struana, this is only just barely the ship that you came in on. I mean, you recognize the crew loading the gangplanks and getting things battened down, but this ship, while the other one was light and sleek and not particularly intrusive, this one has been outfitted for combat. Where before there was an open dirigible section, there's now scaled plated armor over the dirigible. The hull has been plated selectively with what look like some sort of shell as opposed to metal. You can see where there were, a few ballistae mounted before on your ride in. there are now some several very sleek mounted pods that have armored turret sections. The ship has been heavily upgraded. At the back, you see a arm mechanism, so a small crane that has a clamp on it about the size of your bubble. The coloring is sun-drenched sky on the top, or on the bottom, and sandy at the top.
Hmm.
The engines are running, and it is primed to go. Bannon sees your reaction. He watches you take a look. Impressive, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Goodness. Does it make you feel proud to fly her?
It makes me feel a little bit afraid. I won't lie. Somebody thinks we're going somewhere dangerous, and I was trained as a merchant.
Someone
you
might
need a lot
not.
of exercise. What were you gonna say, Diamond?
Someone might not be incorrect. Shall you? We should have a brief meeting at the helm.
I was going to take you directly there. So Bannon walks you in. The whole thing is busy. You notice there are no longer any passenger accommodations as you walk down and through. And you are taken into the command room, which has a panel much like was in the bubble. But CliqClaq, you especially notice this one is much broader and has a lot more going on. The crew, as you pass them by, is almost uniformly gnomish. There are a couple of dwarves, most notably Struana's cousin Bannon. But they're all hurrying about their business. But they do acknowledge you, like, oh, hello. Little gnomish, a gnomish greeting that essentially is, I don't have time to give you my name. And I'm very sorry. We'll meet properly later. That's right. You caught me at work, you know. Gnomish airships aren't foreign to you, I assume. No, gnomes are around them a lot. This one is a few generations back in its original craftsmanship. I mean, it's an older model, but the codes check out. The remodeling and renovation, though, you can see where the structure has been altered a little bit, reinforced, and this is a beautiful piece of machinery.
Hmm.
The captain greets you when you get to the bridge. Miss Hardjaw.
Excellent to see you again, sir.
I hear you're no longer our passenger.
Well, I still will be booking passage, just in a somewhat different way.
Right. You're calling the shots these days. Quite a run you've had in the city.
Let's see if we can make it slightly less dramatic of a run this time. What do you think?
I think that is not likely.
I think you're probably not incorrect. These are my compatriot. This is Stan Smith and Click Clack.
Gives you both a nod. He notices CliqClaq staring off into space.
This is guy in charge whose name I forgot. I don't know the captain's name anymore. Sorry, Thomas.
I'm not positive we named him. To be honest, he was always just Captain Gnome Picard in my head.
We probably did. I just finding it's going to be rough. Whatever. He has a name.
Just
Right.
Stuart.
Right, Captain Stewart. It's much longer in Gnomish and Shakespearean, really. Well, I haven't been well briefed on our heading or destination. I take it now that you're here, you're ready to leave. You seem packed.
We are, in fact. But obviously beginning with a briefing. So we are going to be going to 2 locations. However, we are only joining you for the first and then the return portion of the journey.
Excellent. Penfold, lay in a course, and you see your mining administrator from the island hopping up and beginning navigation.
Can you guys explain the the location of Hyperion? This would be a great time to step in since I have no idea where it is.
Oh, I know it. And he marks it on the map and hits the best route and starts pulling up things, and you see like wind density being added into the 3-dimensional display and then wiping off, and like different various lines that don't seem to make it doesn't seem to mean anything to you. Not well, you're a jack of all trades. You might know some of what he's doing, but he's laying in a course.
Yeah. I also have an idea of, I mean, I understand longitude, but instead of understanding longitude, I'm more likely to understand the story about how we came by understanding longitude.
Well, and on an Earth that's not curved, flight's a little different.
That's right. I forget that you're flat.
Right? You're not one of those round Earthers, are you?
Oh, God. Oh, goodness.
Anyway.
This,
Lays in course to Hyperion, goes fairly fast.
it is the second part of our journey that I think that we need to actually have a conversation about. The 3 of us need to go into the name of the desert. Insert name of the desert here.
Badwa'Mor.
Badwa'Mor?
Bod. Like
Badwa'Mor.
bad. Ah.
Badwa'Mor. Sounds like it sounds like what the common name for the Swamp of Sorrows is. Anyway. So we have to go to the desert Badwa'Mor, but we are going to be traveling a faster route, and we need you to meet us there.
The captain looks pensive as soon as you say so. It's not commonly flown.
No.
I understand now. How long do you expect us to be there?
Boy, is that anyone's guess, isn't it?
All right.
So where we're looking at is going to take you about a week and a half to, I think that's what you said, Thomas, to get there. I don't honestly know how long it's going to take us to do what we need to do, but I can't expect it's going to take longer than that for us to at least be able to check in. What do you guys, does that sound reasonable to you two?
All right. We'll lay in the fastest course possible. There are no maps past the western ley line. And navigating over desert is difficult.
We are looking for we are going to a place that you can spot from the air. It is a mountain range which looks like a is it scorpion? I wrote this down. The snake? That's fish, David.
I think if you do this, it's a snake.
This is fish. Where did you go to school?
All right. So a mountain range that looks like a cobra. That's what it was. That's what my brain was doing. It was doing poisonous and dramatic creatures. Why that mashup happened. Well, venomous, rather. I meant.
And dramatic.
Well,
So I can give you
got a map location anywhere, any reference, any
I
navigation.
can give you a very basic here. So I'm going pre-prepped drawing in my book the image that we got in the head from Flumion.
All right.
So this is what I have.
The navigator starts punching in data.
I can tell you that it was seen from the air.
A week and a half's about right. We'll make better time than average in the new rig, but we haven't pushed it as far as it can go. We still have some testing to work out, and wow, heat's really going to be an issue. We'll figure out something, sir. And he nods, and they have a quick exchange in Gnomish that is basically technical information for him to relay to the engineer. And then he goes back. So, when we arrive at this cobra-shaped mountain, what is it we should expect?
Well, I still know some of the signal codes. Still have those.
Oh yeah.
We can absolutely communicate with you at least basic information using these. There are unfriendly locals. Don't do anything stupid. I'd rather if you had to fly back up for a while and we'll meet you in 50 yards. I don't know.
Well, there are threats in the air, and we will do our best to avoid anything. Getting to where you are and retrieving you will be our first priority. We're not there for loot.
Tragically.
That's on the way back.
If there's nothing else, and he kind of gestures to the door, Bannon can see you to your accommodations.
Of course. Please take some time if you need it to be able to outfit yourselves and the ship effectively. The difference of a day or two is going to matter, but it also isn't. Do you understand what I mean?
During our retrofit, we were afforded an entire array of materials that I didn't really understand why we would need until just now, including cooling systems, exceptional armor, various sand-proofing, and we're ready to go.
Nice.
What is the breath weapon of blue dragons in your world? Did I know
Lightning.
that? Lightning. Did you perchance end up with anything that would protect one against magical lightning?
The ship has various magical defenses.
That might be one to keep a little bit higher.
As well as some specific resistances. I mean, it is wise for any airship to be wary of electricity anyway. We're careful about that sort of thing.
Fair. Okay.
Just a side note, this entire time, CliqClaq has been compulsively checking the structure for integrity. And just neurotically, like, checking all of the measurements and the construction and just doing all the math in his head. Just analyzing.
It is fine Gnomish craftsmanship. It is done to Gnomish specifications. It's all the bolts are exactly where they're supposed to be within a Gnomish inch, which is a very small inch.
It's more of a centimeter.
But yeah, very very finely crafted, very well done. You can see anything that was aged has been reinforced.
He starts the analysis out of neurotic compulsion, and then keeps going because it's comforting. Ah, they built this correctly. I missed this.
Everything's right.
Fucking humans, I swear.
You guys have probably never seen CliqClaq so comfortable outside of the outside.
Nice to see.
And by the time Bannon shows you to your rooms, you feel the telltale sort of lurch as the ship begins to move. It's not nearly as smooth as your gyroscopic bubble ship. This definitely has propulsion and weight behind it. You feel it. The thrust goes up slowly, but it goes up for a while. You recognize that were this to ramp up quickly, you would have to brace yourselves. There are harnesses and safety equipment and sleeping rigging in the quarters. The quarters, if anything, have gotten less nice. They're very utilitarian, almost military.
You're welcome.
Does there seem to be any like change in the makeup of the gnomes? Like, did they seem more outfitted for battle? If you're gonna spend some of the time on the trip wandering around the crew, you recognize a few of the key technical ones, but none of the miners are there. None of the like the more trades-minded are there, and you do see the ones that you don't recognize are from a beefier, grimmer stock of gnome. The kind of gnomes that have scars and harsh looks and stories. Are there at least a few who recognize me that I get to greet in a friendly manner and say, "Hey"?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Several, especially the scouts and the swordsmen that were with you there, and a lot of them immediately begin telling the story to their friends in Gnomish about this is the dwarf I was telling you about.
Awesome. No point if I'm not basically famous.
And that's about how the ride goes. I mean, it's equitably social. Most people are, in between doing something. They're headed one way or another. It's very busy on the ship. It's not as large a crew as it was. Is there anything else you do before you reach Hyperion?
Fret.
Nope.
All right. The journey is essentially uneventful. I could make you roll random encounters, but meh.
We're gonna ignore them anyway.
Right. You get to see the tree coming now in a way that you didn't before in your plummet through the storm. It's not healthy. The ground is scorched and rotted. Now, a few weeks on, you can see that rains have soaked and washed in the corpses that had tramped on it. From the air, you can see the lava baked mud of your charge with the colossal elk prints.
Can't imagine where those are from.
But there is once again a lot of activity at the base of the tree. That's healthy, real people, not evil undead trying to claw the thing down. People have begun the process of reclaiming the area directly around the tree. It's going to be a long time, but that's probably your best guess as to where each guy is.
Are we all in the same room right now?
Yes. There's a ship break room.
When we see the burn marks and the sign of battle with the giant footprints, I tap Struana, point at it, and point at Stan.
Really? You weren't kidding.
Wait, what now?
Giant footprints. Your fault.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was my elk buddy.
And here I thought you were exaggerating, Stan. My bad.
By God's grace, did I grow gigantic.
So,
Okay.
Bannon lets you know you're here. He shows up where you are. We've arrived. It's probably a little dodgy for us to go too low with the tree cover. I might suggest your smaller vehicle.
I wasn't sure until now that we had it. That makes me happy.
If you didn't want to, you don't have to. I figured you would. You guys had made all the preparations.
Shall we?
Yeah.
There's a little gangplank that leads to it from the stern of the ship, and you're easily able to board and then head down to the base of the tree. Ishka is there. He's basically directing things. He's working with groups of people and sending people out to cast various spells. Still very busy. He's weak. You can see he's leaning heavily on a staff in a way that he was not previously.
He's busy directing things, you say?
He, as soon as the airship starts to come down, he immediately notices and begins to direct attention towards you, and beckons you down toward him, tells people to move, like, make way, make way.
All right. Yeah. Head towards him.
Okay. As you come down, he motions to you, like leans up on his step. Stan Smith and CliqClaq, saviors of Hyperion. And as he speaks it, people begin to applaud as you walk down onto the ground. And your friend.
I was
Come.
politely joining in the applause.
So was I.
You are traveling now to the desert. You have come for my aid, yes?
Yes.
Not even acquiescence.
Struana, this is the first time you've seen this person. Under the woolen green hood and the simple druid robes, there is a wood and metal frame construction of a person. You see leather and straps underneath the wood where joints and muscles would work. The fingers and hands that hold the staff are all made of lacquered plates and some sort of interior skeleton.
Well, that's interesting.
Have you any preparations before you are ready?
No, we're pretty much ready.
Yep.
Ah, that is what you think. Come. We may either walk some ways or take your ship, but trees around here are ruined for the magic, so we must walk for a ways or fly. I am easily winded right now.
Then perhaps flying would be more appropriate for you.
I am humble enough to know where I am weak. And he heads to board the ship. Fly east. We will find the way. You've never been to desert. Not like this, yeah?
Yeah,
Not like this at all.
No.
First.
Correct.
You have prepared water?
Yes.
Good,
Mm-hmm.
good. There is sandstorm every morning. It is the sun's gift to desert. It rises so hot, forces a strong wind, sweeps across desert every sunrise, scours the land clean.
Okay.
Good to know. Thank you.
The sap and flowers of cactus tree I am going to send you to has medicinal healing properties. Do not breathe the sand. If you do, there is recipe I will give you out of flowers to make remedy. That is all I can offer.
I've totally been writing this down.
He points out a patch. There is healthy tree. I can send you on journey from there.
Here we go.
Everyone takes a deep breath, like, oh God, what are we doing?
Wise to be afraid. It is very smart.
Take a long glance around at all these green growing things and appreciate them. Okay.
You sit down in a little meadow. There's half of the grove is wrecked, but on the other side you can see the foliage is still healthy. It's about mid-afternoon currently. As you're touching down, Ishka says, "Are you sure you wish to enter desert now?"
What is this,
Now's
a
the
save
time.
point?
Nighttime is safest to travel. Get out of sun during day. It will be brutally hot. Be prepared. He touches a tree. Once you are through, there is no turn back.
What time of day is it right now, Thomas?
It's late afternoon, like about 5-ish. It was a 6-hour flight. We got there mid-morning.
And the sun's setting for us like what? Is it
9-ish? It's late
What?
summer. It's late summer, so 8-ish, 9-ish.
okay. Well, wherever we were going, I would rather see it in the day before we traverse it at night. What do you all think?
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Then
Shall
when
we
you
go
are
now or in a couple
tree
hours?
will be open for only few seconds. Tell me when you are ready. I will cast spell.
Are we going?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
He gathers up a deep breath and makes a few arcane symbols, puts his second hand on the tree and makes a twisting motion, and it opens up. And you see the tree unfold into a little about 10 by 10 wooden room. As you dive in, it closes behind you and unfolds. As soon as the first opening goes through, the air hits you and reaches into your lungs like a finger of fire.
I'm gonna give us all the benefit of the doubt and assume we put on our masks before we did this.
Yes, okay. So it's not so bad.
Right.
But it is about like standing in front of a blast furnace. It is just immediately hot. And the ground over the path opens in front of you, and you are sort of forced out of what is a massive cactus. The base of it is about 4 feet around, and if you've ever seen like a saguaro or a Peruvian torch, it immediately flows outward and up and around. It's about chest high before it opens out. So Stan and probably Struana, you're going to have to duck through to get in or to get out.
Can I be impressed that this counts as a tree?
Indeed.
Like that.
And
Druids. Cool.
as you get out of the canopy of it, you see that it goes up about 15, 20 feet. Once it's out from the umbrella of it. And as soon as you get out from the shade, I mean, you can see even at full daylight when you were out in the forest. I mean, just even being around forest canopy was an amount of filter. There is zero filter in the Badwa'Mor wastes. So, you know, everything is, if we were on camera, everything is filmed through like a Mad Max yellow grade sepia tone filter. Everything is awash in sunshine. and the tree cactus closes behind you.
I have something for that.
Well, this is the like shading eyes trying to get like.
You have tinted goggles on.
Oh, okay. I have tinted goggles on, and I'm trying to see
all four of us have eye protection and mouth protection.
That's awesome. You're great.
On that note, what we did not mention yet today is when you met CliqClaq this morning, there was something mounted on the back of the crab that almost looked like a giant firecracker.
I might have very briefly noticed and just been like, eh.
Now that we're on the desert, I turn around in my saddle, pull a lever, it extends, the firework looking thing extends and fans out into a patio umbrella that has a nozzle on either left and right, and inside there's two pipes running that have holes in the bottom. I pull another lever and a paddle wheel drops out of the back and drops onto the ground. We start walking, the paddle moves, and water starts spraying out. It's misting me and the crab, and it's misting you two.
It doesn't get very far out of that radius, and when it does and makes contact with Stan's armor, it immediately you see vapor steam off every time a droplet hits that armor. It heats up immediately.
My point is, it's 10 feet. It has a 10-foot wingspan, so if you guys want to walk under it, there's room.
And I'm going to say that contraption, by the way, will give you advantage on all survival checks in the desert while you're using it. Just so you know. Remember that for later.
I'm just impressed. Struana's just like, you're so cool.
And by the way, he did all this without even talking. He just pulled a lever, and started walking.
Oh, wow. Dan is dumbfounded.
So
I think we're used to not talking about whatever the thing is. Like, oh, that works. Yeah. Cool.
So you guys are essentially in a small grove of these torch cacti. They're red. They have reflective needles. It's green with red highlights and red flowers. You guys are, so you know, there's also smaller cacti around. It's going to be half speed until you're toward the end, unless you want to have to start making dice rolls. So you know.
Well, part of it is figuring out where we're going, so that's looking around first and trying to identify this as associated with map in head and anything we can see at all.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me a survival check headed through the cactus forests.
Do we all get advantage on this?
As long as you're within 10 feet of CliqClaq. And even though you've never been here, CliqClaq, somehow you know you're not lost.
That'd be nice.
Rangers, bitches. 14 or 24.
I rolled a 17 both times.
Nice.
It was meant to be.
Stan, how'd you do?
I rolled a 19.
All right, so you guys you don't know what all the fuss was about. Like, yeah, it's hot, it's a little dry, but CliqClaq got us covered.
Literally.
Clearly, we've outsmarted the desert.
Or now.
Nobody say that out loud.
That's like saying, "Oh, the ocean's not a big deal."
Mm-hmm.
This will be a milk run.
No.
First one who said
None of
piece
us
of cake gets an
that,
arrow in
others.
the eye.
You can't lull us into a false sense of security with your ego boosting.
I'm going to have you guys give me a perception test.
I got a nat 20. Stan's really on it.
Dan is so on it. I technically rolled the same as you, but you got a natural 20. Woo!
And CliqClaq, how'd yours do?
I get my goggles give me advantage on perception,
Yes.
which is a good thing because I rolled a 1 and then a 19, which makes that a 29.
Nice. So all three of you, almost simultaneously, as you're kind of carefully picking your way through the cactus forest, and as you're getting towards where places where you can see some breaks in the trees that go in, or the massive needly death creations that you're seeing some breaks that go into the sand. Nothing you can really take advantage of, just with the thickness. But you can tell you're getting towards the edge. And as you do, you see a figure very clearly perched atop one of these cactus trees.
Humanoid?
It is. What's that? Yeah,
Sorry.
because of your ridiculous rolls, you guys are able to get an amount of detail on this thing. It is a lithe, thin figure. It's wrapped in a sandy colored cloak, and actually has placed upon itself various flowers from this cactus, and it is surreptitiously kind of leaning down and then coming back up, and you see a spyglass. It's surveying the desert around and then kind of like leaning down, impossibly at the top of this thing of this many. I mean, if you could imagine a bathtub chock full of cactus that are about 15 feet high, that's about what this tree looks like, and then has a cactus at the bottom. And it's seemingly unbothered by what's going on there. You can see the face is human. It has some very sandy yellowish features. It's kind of a light colored skin compared to the Delta. But still, I mean, it's kind of desert colored. It might just be that everything here is washed in that sunlight, and so the color blends differently. But it's the color of the desert, really.
I am going to pop out my spyglass and look at him.
Okay.
I didn't hear the distance.
It's about 500 feet out when you guys spot it. You guys got some exceptional rolls. You catch it at a distance.
So yes, I'm also going to pop out my spyglass.
When you do, it's a female figure. His back is to you. Doesn't seem to notice you're there. And if you'd like to give me another perception test with advantage.
$22. Again?
You can make out on the back of its hands there is a pattern of fine scales. Very, 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 very fine. Looks like snake leather.
I think this is who we're looking for, y'all.
All right.
What do you guys do?
Can we start walking the direction of it?
You can. Are you trying to be stealthy?
Probably. Not that that's... Don't know how helpful that's going to be, but yes.
Well, everybody give me some stealth rolls. I'm going to make a prediction. Lovelace is going to ace it. CliqClaq's going to do okay even after a bad roll. Stan has disadvantage, so he's going to suck. And Struana, average. Just going to call it now. How'd it go?
26.
Oh, well, sometimes you nail it. I was already wrong.
CliqClaq got a 28. Lovelace got an 18.
Okay, so I was wrong about everything. Stan?
Remember that.
I want you to do that every time, though. I like it.
What'd you get, Stan?
I got a 3 on the.
Okay. I was right about one thing. So as you're going through, Struana, you more or less blend in with the sands. CliqClaq, somehow, even with your misting parasol, you manage to keep it like right behind a thing every time, like on every approach, so you have cover. But Stan, on the other hand,
It'll blend.
Stan, on the other hand, has only ever successfully snuck up on a zombie, and this is not that. You guys all hear an audible crunch in the sand as he's with cat-like tread.
Yep.
Like it's a little hard to get footing sometimes with the massive weight of your hot armor. And before you guys get within about 300 feet, the figure like drops the glass, goes still, and then just whips around and looks right at you, Stan.
Wave.
I'm going to not look at Stan and keep walking forward. Is there a way, like, not the model walk, but where you appear, like, sure of yourself, but, like, you're walking up to someone to ask them directions, you know? Just like, hey, how you doing today? Like, I'm sure that I'm going to talk to you, but I'm not stressed about anything or threatening in any way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't
figure flings an arm out and strikes very strange pose. It looks odd. It doesn't. Maybe it got a needle stuck in its foot. You do see the sun reflecting strangely off its hand, and it seems like it's gathering something with its gesture.
No.
It says a few words to you.
What language?
What do you? Not one. I think you speak.
If it's draconic, I speak that.
It's not.
Desert talk. Desert.
Okay.
It is not a language or even a language construction that you have heard. You were told they do speak a completely different language. Common is not that common.
Yeah. Anything that sounds like something else. I mean, I understand that they're... Yeah.
And it seems to expect a response from you. Oh, I've struck those this way. You can see its eyes are the eyes of a snake.
How close am I right now?
275 feet if you've been slowly, non-hostilely advancing at half speed so you don't embarrassingly clothesline yourself on a cactus tree.
Yeah. That would be terrible.
That would take some drama out of the moment.
At about, if she doesn't move, at about 200 feet, I'm going to bow. That, I mean, these are things that are common in many languages, is the, like, lowering your eyes bit, you know?
It sort of raises itself up taller and strikes a different pose. Says something else, and the language is very sibilant. I mean, it's a lot of S's and TH.
So I'm going to, like, do that, like... So CliqClaq, you can, like, do that thing where you understand what other people say, or rather, speak what they can, right? You speak languages? Isn't that a thing that you have?
I talk, yeah. What?
Do you have the spell that is where you can speak various additional languages?
No.
I thought you did.
I thought I did too.
Huh.
Not
Well,
on my sheet.
I'm gonna cast comprehend language because I can do that one.
Okay. And I do remember you saying you were picking up some tongues potions.
Yeah, but I'm starting with casting comprehend languages.
Okay.
Do tongue potions do both ends? Or do they just do the speaking end?
I think comprehend is for reading, tongues is for speaking.
Comprehend is for hearing also. Understand literal meaning of any spoken or written language.
Okay, you just can't speak it back.
No, but I'm going to start with comprehend languages.
All right.
And, like, we're very gently, this is going to be very quiet and make it look like this is just a ritualistic thing almost. And then I can understand what you're saying.
She sees you casting and doesn't seem to react hostilely, although she gets prepared, but seems to recognize what you're doing. And then she speaks, and you do understand it. You are foreign. Do you serve the moon?
I understand your language, but I don't speak it.
So, what are we to do then? I may speak, but you cannot answer. You haven't attacked me, so I must deduce that you are not here to aid the other.
Like,
You carry foreign weapons. Are you here on purpose? Nod if yes. Have you come to aid the Darkbringer?
Probably
so I'm going to
not.
ask, I'm going to just go ahead and ask in Draconic, is there any chance you speak this language? Or the more, formal version of that you might say to a stranger?
I do speak the Lord's tongue, it says. She said.
Oh, good. Then we can communicate. Very friendly, would you, oh, I'm so glad that we can communicate. Oh, that's good.
She like immediately, like at this point, begins to drop her wary guard. She's still like, you see now as you've approached closer that she's barefoot on top of this this cacti, and has seems to like go into a more relaxed position.
Definitely with the fascinated.
Then you may approach me. Speak your case.
We're approaching. So we can walk forward because it turns out we have a language in common. Let's go. Don't make any threatening motions or such, y'all.
Keep my hands to myself.
And I'm totally like, God damn it. Part of me is like, gosh, I wasted a spell slot for that. Whatever. Stick around for a while, at least.
It got you there.
Hmm.
Does anybody else speak Draconic in the group? Okay. So this is Struana.
Yep.
She looks down imperiously at you, as though used to speaking down from atop a cactus.
That's fascinating. In common.
Who are you?
My name is Struana. I am a dwarf. This is Stan. He is a human. This is CliqClaq. He is a ranger. And this is Lovelace. She is a crab.
Why did everyone get race and I got class?
What?
Why did you give everyone else's race and my class?
I thought I said gnome. I intended to say gnome. Did I say ranger?
You said,
Yeah.
I am a dwarf, this is a human, this is a ranger.
I was thinking gnome and my mouth said ranger, so...
She kind of says, I'm familiar with all the slave races and the meat animals. What is your purpose here? You did not come from this place. Were you brought here by a djinn?
No. And if I don't meet another one again, I'll be happy for it. We came to speak to, Duneharrow. We came to seek an audience with your lord.
You have come too late, foreigner. One of you has already brought siege to the Duneharrow's lair.
Any chance he goes by the name Boranor?
What do you know of the Darkbringer?
I know that we share a common enemy.
I accept this. What do you offer?
I feel like I need to roll a persuasion check because my like personal cleverness isn't quite up to like the
Okay.
role play. Apparently,
When a barbarian needs to lift a gate, they roll an athletics check. I don't make them do bench presses.
there is like whatever the effective version of is that we offer assistance in something that's like expelling or carving out or removing. There's a word that's like removing the pustule kind of thing.
Okay.
A biopsy?
A death knightectomy?
A biopsy is just a partial test. It doesn't take out the whole wound. It just stabs a bit of it. Persuasion,
You're going to do a badectomy?
right?
Yeah.
Extricate.
12. Enough to talk. Like, we're coming to do that. And
Well,
to work to keep Badwa'Mor from, or I'll use whatever phrase she used, the Dark One? Is that what she's calling him?
the Darkbringer.
The Dark Bringer? To keep the Dark Bringer from continuing his reach across the world. Kill it dead. Talk to a dragon. I don't say that last part.
I accept your offer of service. You shall prove yourselves before I show you more. The Empire of the Sun is in a time of crisis. And while I acknowledge the truth of your words, we face a cunning enemy, and it is not impossible that your sincerity is a trap.
That's fair.
Children of the Black Moon have done such for generations. She steps down from the cactus. And by that I mean like walks down the top of it and just turns and just in about 3 steps is down on the ground.
I'm gonna quit while she's like she's doing that. She's gonna have to wait a second because I'm gonna very briefly okay guys, this is what just happened. Recap. Here's the 2 paragraphs. Badwa'Mor's already here, and
I am Hadessa. You may refer to me as Abates. Follow me. I shall lead you to your first test. Worthiness for service. She points out along the desert, and give me a perception test.
while doing that, I'm gonna just sort of translate that bit word for word. What was my perception? Vente.
Stan, how'd you do?
We're rolling perception, you said?
Yes, please.
$13.
Stan, you don't get a lot of detail on it, but the rest of you can see out over the dunes. There seems to be a dune that is not as immobile as the others. You see it shift and drop and come back up, and you see that there's a purple hue to it as it crests again and heads back down.
Bye, Les.
What do you know? The people of this land, foreigner.
Little.
Well, then first, you shall learn how my enemy fights. And as you're looking out in the spyglass, you can see that there are people on the back of this dune that are, it looks like they're mounted, have some sort of apparatus that's attaching them to it. And it seems to be a giant purple worm.
Whoa.
That a giant purple worm?
Yes. The moon crawlers. Disgusting creatures. The sooner we exterminate them, the better this desert will be.
Fascinating, though.
We shall see how you fare if you are a warrior truly worthy of the Empire of the Sun.
Does she want us to kill that thing?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Or something. I'm actually not sure. Is the test to kill it, or is the test to write it?
We have no use for such simple beasts.
There you go.
Their meat is not even serviceable as food. We'll destroy it, and all the riders, and I shall witness your skill. And that's where we'll break for right now. We'll be back soon after this break, and by that I mean part 2 in the video. If you like what you see, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you want to see it get better, follow the link over to our Patreon, and we can do it together. In the meantime, have a good game.